I know when first switched over to the high ticket approach, our profit margins skyrocketed because of it. And I couldn't believe how much profit we were making on every order.
Today, we're talking about something that should be front and center of anyone that's looking to build a successful e-commerce business. We're talking about how to dropship profitably. So in our conversation today, Lewis, I want to talk about our current dropshipping model, why we prioritize profits over revenue, and some actionable steps for those whether they're not profitable yet or if they're just starting and want to be profitable when they start dropshipping from day one. So, Lewis, I know that you are very passionate about this topic. Are you ready to share our blueprint?
Yeah, absolutely. The profit from one of these businesses is what really makes it a business. That's when it goes from being a hobby to a business. So I'm excited to dive into the conversation today and see if we can help our listeners maximize the profit they're getting from their dropshipping businesses.
Exactly. Now, we've tried a couple of different models of dropshipping in the past, and I think the type of dropshipping that we do is crucial to how we make sure it's profitable as early as possible. So, Lewis, could you go into and explain our current model of dropshipping?
Yeah, absolutely. So we start off by sourcing high quality, high ticket items. So unlike traditional dropshipping, we're focusing here on premium products, and that's for a few different reasons. But one of the main reasons is that it offers us such a higher profit margin as a retailer. So it's like choosing to sell luxury cars instead of budget vehicles where maybe you only make a few pounds on every vehicle you sell. If you're selling luxury cars, the margin can be so much higher because you can charge a premium for it and you attract a wealthier type of customer who have more disposable income. So we partner with UK-based suppliers when we're using my home turf advantage model. And we do this, again, for a few reasons. First is to ensure much faster delivery times. Now, that means that it's a super easy business to run for you. It also means that your suppliers are easier to deal with because they're in the UK, same time zone as you, speak the same language as you. But also, and probably the most important one, customers are so much happier because of it. It means that we can get products to customers the very next day. And so they're delighted. They leave you nice reviews, which then other customers see. They come back to buy more. Their friends and family buy more because they had a good experience. And the whole thing works as this positive flywheel, this feedback cycle. Now, we don't just sell products though on these stores. We're not just flogging products and then kind of disappearing. We're building brands. We're building brands that resonate with specific target audiences as well. So that's really key. Think of it like creating a bespoke boutique shop rather than just this generic department store. We're really trying to build an audience here because down the line, you might want to sell a business like this. And so it's so much more valuable if it's packaged up as this asset, this business that has a loyal following, a passionate market of audience customers, but also it means that customers will come back. If they had a great experience and they feel part of your brand and they enjoyed the experience and they feel at home when they're shopping with you, then why wouldn't they come back if you can give them such a great experience? So I remember, like you say, using the traditional low ticket products from China dropshipping model that we hear so many people dive into because there's so many videos on YouTube saying, you can try dropshipping and make $1,000 in your first week by selling these widgets from China, and it's all just kind of falls apart when you actually start trying to implement that model. I know when I first switched over to the high ticket approach, our profit margins skyrocketed because of it. And I couldn't believe how much profit we were making on every order. And I realized the buffer that it allows you, the margin for error, the margin to actually not even be that good of a business owner or entrepreneur. You don't have to be that smart if you're able to make hundreds, if not thousands of pounds in profit on a single order. Because then you can kind of make mistakes and it almost just covers those mistakes because you have so much extra buffer. I know one of our members inside our masterclass, Kenneth, recently posted in the group that he made a sale for £7,000, right? On one sale, one product, which netted him £2,100 in profit, right? After all the expense, after buying the item with the £7,000 that the customer gave him, he bought the item and was left with £2,100 in profit. That's a 30% profit margin, which in itself, £2,100 is a decent monthly salary for a lot of people. And that's from one sale. Imagine if Kenneth's making a sale every single day of the month. Like, you can see how quickly this adds up and how much easier it makes one of these businesses to run versus running a business with razor thin margins.
Exactly. It's a much more exciting business to run. And Kenneth's not the only one. I know Adam recently as well, Lewis, he was celebrating his £7,000 order recently. So it's becoming a bit of a theme in the masterclass community recently. But always great to celebrate these big wins that we see and give it a bit of a shout out on the podcast as well. But it all comes down to, crucially, the model and the home turf advantage model that you teach. It's like the foundation for everything else to sit on top of. So if you've come across this podcast episode and you're not profitable right now, I know when I was in that position, I was looking for those fast tweaks, little quick wins. Okay, how can I improve my click-through rate on my Facebook ads? What do I need to change to the headline? Okay, what image shall I use on my homepage? These are all little tweaks, but if you want to make big differences, and that's why I've gone straight to talking about the foundation from the start, you need to have a look at the actual model that you're employing. And if you're anything like me, I went straight into a traditional dropshipping model first. And like you as well, Lewis, we really struggled because it just doesn't work in your favor. The numbers aren't on your side until you try out this new type of dropshipping that we are doing and teaching at the moment. So there's many reasons that you mentioned there about why it works better than the traditional model of dropshipping, specifically for being more profitable. But why did you choose? Did it come from a position of pain? Why did you choose to go into this model over the more traditional dropshipping?
Yeah, there is quite a lot of pain associated with the traditional model. So we chose this high ticket home turf advantage model because it addresses several key challenges that most people stumble upon when they're setting up their dropshipping business for the first time. First is that selling high ticket items means that each sale brings in significant profit, and that makes it so much easier to scale because then you have the budget, then you have the margin that you can reinvest into that business. And you've only had to make one sale to do that. So it just makes your life as an early stage entrepreneur so much easier. There's so much more room for mistakes and error because it's covered up by nice, healthy, juicy profit margin. And secondly, using local suppliers because it means that you get faster delivery to your customers and also fewer quality issues as well because local suppliers are easy to speak with. You can easily return items if you need to. You just try returning a product that cost $20 from the UK to China and see what the supplier says. It doesn't end up well. And so you as the retailer end up swallowing that return, and that means a drop in your profits. And so you don't want to be on the hook for things like that. You want a supplier that stands behind the products they sell because then that builds trust, it builds repeat business, it builds great customer loyalty. So that's definitely a big factor. And then you've got the concept of focusing on a niche. So that's what we encourage with the home turf advantage model. It's building a brand to ensure long-term success for your business rather than just going after the short-term gains like the flash in the pan, like, oh, okay, I can make a few £1,000 by dropshipping this trending product using TikTok ads, and then the trend dies out or the supplier stops supplying them or the customers receive them and realize it's all just kind of cheap rubbish and it doesn't really work properly, or, you know, they want to return it or they don't like it or they leave bad reviews. So it's kind of like, I remember when I was a student, I went to IKEA because I'd moved into my new student house and I needed a wardrobe to, you know, have my clothes because I'd just moved out of student halls, and in the house that I was in, I didn't have a wardrobe. So I went to IKEA and bought the cheapest flat pack IKEA wardrobe, like student mindset. I was thinking, what can I get here that's absolute cheapest? And I remember I bought this wardrobe and it was such a flimsy construction that it almost swayed in the wind. It was like, you could tell when I was hanging up a shirt, it would like all lean over and creak to the left and right. And I just thought, never felt confident with that thing. Versus now we've invested in some like proper solid wood wardrobes here. Just put that old flimsy wardrobe to shame. And it's the same with your business. You know, do you want to build the business that's the flimsy swaying around the room type wardrobe? Or do you want to build something that is solid, good quality and will stand the test of time? I know that wardrobe analogy might seem unrelated, but it's like, think of it in terms of your future. Your family's finances depend on you building the solid framed business. And so that's one of the big reasons why we encourage the home turf advantage model.